Hey everybody, this is Tao at the Forge, and today I'm making my first trek into Arena. So I got to play Arena today, and I went 5-0. That's, pretty much as good as I can get, like I can't see how I might have done better. But unfortunately, I lost a lot of the gameplay footage. So I know it sounds kind of bad, but it's really not that important. The gameplay footage was, it was kind of okay. It could be entertaining to watch, but I think a lot of the things that helped me to get to that 5-0 came about from decisions I made early on, right? Like before I even started playing. And then a few things that were in game that I think really helped as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys some of the footage that I was able to salvage. And then I'm going to go through it and interject some of my advice that I might have for you guys and show you guys, especially for new players, what I think you should do based on my first 5 matches. So without any more talk, here we go. Okay, so here's the situation. I've just started playing Arena and I've gone through the tutorials. I haven't really done anything else yet, actually. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I've gone through the tutorials. I went to the store and noticed there was this pack, the starter pack thing, and it looked like a decent deal, so I picked that up for $5. Okay, so that's the very first piece of advice that I'd like to offer, is buy the starter pack. Now, I'm not going to advise you to spend a ton of money in Arena, but it costs basically $5, and you get actually a very good deal out of it. You get, I think 5 or 6 packs, and you get some gold and gems and stuff like that. Just the 5 packs alone was really quite helpful. And here's the reason why, all right? When you first start out, you're going to start out with just some random decks that they give you, right? They're not random, but they're just starter decks that they give you. Those decks are fairly balanced, or I would expect that they'd be fairly balanced with each other. So in order to get success right off the top, like getting some extra cards from a few booster packs is going to kind of help you to balance or to kind of tip those decks away, right? So I imagine what happens with Arena is that when you first start playing, they're going to be pairing you up, or Arena will probably pair you up with other newbies, right? And if they're playing a deck, like just basically a starter deck, and you're playing a starter deck with basically a bunch of boosters that have augmented it, then you're going to have an advantage. And I found that I kind of got lucky with my pack openings, and I was able to add a few things, like nothing huge. Like I didn't draw like a Teferi or anything like that. I guess it was M19, so I wouldn't have drawn Teferi anyways. But I was able to actually get a little bit more consistency by adding those packs to my decks. All right, so I'm okay with that. Turn down the volume a tiny bit here. Okay, but other than that, I don't really know much else about this. All right, so I've got 5 core set packs. I have some gold. I have some gems. When I go to the home, I know I can grind for gold. So I've read a little bit about this, right? So I can play a game to complete this quest, but I did see that there was like some rewards today for playing blue and black decks. So I'm going to go to my decks here and just see what we have here. So we got Graveyard Bash and Arcane Inventions. All right, these are just the decks that come with everything. So let's just see what they're kind of about. I don't really know. I haven't even looked at the decks yet. It's kind of hard to play if you haven't studied the decks. So that's my second piece of advice, is to actually study the decks. Spend a little bit of time looking at the decks that you're going to play before you play them. Read the cards so that you're familiar with what they do, and try and get a sense about what the deck is trying to do on its own, right? So what's its win strategy? What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses? How is this deck trying to win so that you can play it properly? So let's go take a look and see what we got here. Okay. So, Diagraph Ghoul enters the battlefield tapped. I like the interface of Arena, actually. It looks pretty good. I know that from watching other people, these are wild cards that I can trade in to get other things, but I want to save these up right now. I don't want to just use them haphazardly because I don't really know what I need, and I don't want to waste them. Apparently, these are kind of hard to get. So when you first start playing with Arena, it doesn't seem like you have enough wild cards to really do anything meaningful, and your card collection is pitifully small. And so, like, you really shouldn't spend those cards just yet, because there's not, like, they're hard to get, and it's probably better to save them for something that's really worth it later, right? So you might add like a bomb card to one of these starter decks, but like even in the real world, like in Paper Magic, you don't really ever go to, start with the intro deck and then just start modding that deck, right? Like unless you basically have to change out every single card. So I wouldn't expect that in Arena you would do the same thing, and that's why I wouldn't trade off, and I wouldn't cash in any of those wild cards in just yet. All right, so let's see. Diagraph Ghoul enters the battlefield tapped. Skullduggery. Target creature you control gets +1/+1. Okay. Doomed Dissenter. Sure. That's not bad. Walking Corpse. Okay, generic. It's like a bear, basically. Death Baron. Okay, a Lord for zombies. Okay. So basically this is like just black creatures. Skymarch Bloodletter is not bad. Okay. People love Gravedigger, but I've never really liked Gravedigger. Let's see. Infectious Horror. Okay, that's not bad, but you got to give him some form of evasion. Gets +/-3. Open the Graves. Okay. Okay. That's actually a decent card. Vampire Sovereign's pretty decent. Okay, Yargle. Okay, yeah, a 9/3 is pretty amazing if you can get them, if you can use them. Gravewaker, Meteor, Golem. Okay, and a bunch of lands. Okay. So my initial thoughts were the black deck was pretty good, and that's the deck I actually ended up choosing to play all 5 of my matches with. So it went pretty well. But some of the cards I wanted to talk about that went really well were Diagraph Ghoul. Now, Diagraph Ghoul was amazing. 1 mana 2/2, comes in tapped, but oh well. Like, and I got it a lot on my first turn. So being able to drop in a 1/1, on your first turn, especially if you're on the play, you get that down. And if your opponent can't do anything, you're getting in for, I had one, I think my very first match, the Diagraph Ghoul got in for like 3 attacks before my opponent even got anything on the board. That's 6 damage for one, right? For 1 mana is, pretty good. Skullduggery was really good as well. In another match, or maybe in the same match, I was able to play a Diagraph Ghoul, and then in another turn, they played a Merfolk that had only 1 power, and I was able to or had only 1 toughness. I was able to use Skullduggery to just kill their creature and also boost my creatures at the same time. Any form of removal, especially early on, is really important, and you should know Bread, right? So Bread is bombs. Okay, so you're looking for cards that are going to win you the game. Removal, so ways of removing your opponent's bombs. Evasive creatures, and then just aggro creatures, and then dirt. And finding dirt, there is some dirt in these decks. So dirt is just cards that are just not good to play, right? So Doomed Dissenter was really good as well, stronger than I thought, right? So being able to trade like the 1/1 to get a 2/2 to get a zombie is pretty good. Death Baron, when I got Death Baron down, it just like ended the game basically. It made things just so good. Especially because I managed to tweak the deck a little bit to make it into more of a zombies and skeletons deck, and I ended up taking out like the Thalid and stuff like that, the things that weren't exactly on the zombies and skeletons themes. I did leave in some of the vampires though, like Skymarch Bloodletter and Vampire Sovereign. So the Skymarch Bloodletter, basically when it comes in, gives you 1 life and drains your opponent for another life, but more importantly, it has evasion. It's a 2/2 flyer, right? And then the Vampire Sovereign, same thing. I was actually able to win a game by playing Vampire Sovereign, and then actually drew another one, and was able to close out the last 3 points of damage with the Vampire Sovereign. So that's really great. Any other forms of removal was like Murder. Murder was really important. I played against a mono white deck where they had a Sarah Angel, and they also played some 2/2 knights with tokens with vigilance. And they were, kind of had the board in a stalemate. I top decked Strangling Spores and was able to just attack into the Sarah Angel. So I attacked it into with my Skymarch Bloodletter. They blocked it. The Bloodletter's a 2/2. The Sarah Angel's a 4/4. So what they did is they blocked it, and I gave that one a -3, right? And ended up just killing their Sarah Angel, and from there on, like I was able to just kind of close out the game. So Infectious Horror I found was actually a really good card as well, but Infectious Horror just draws attacks. So I never really did too much damage with Infectious Horror. Just it just drew a lot of hate. Like a lot of people like see that and right away they try and use their removal on it. I did play another game where a person tried to basically play a form of Bogles, where they just threw a whole bunch of enchantments onto one of their creatures. I forget which creature, but it was like a creature that just can't get any combat damage. It just says like prevent all combat damage that's done to this creature. I was able to top deck the Murder, got lucky, and then was able to just kind of wait for them to put all their mana and everything into that card and then just murder it and then end up closing the game there as well. So a lot of these cards are pretty good. There's good evasion, got good aggro. There's not really any bombs in this deck, but also some good removal, which really helped a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up packs and see what I get. And I might be able to modify the blue or black deck and make it better from what I get here. So let's crack this pack. I don't know what's going on with my audio. It seems kind of strange, but let's see. We got Ghost Swarm. Up to 2 target creatures can't be blocked this turn. That could be okay. Uncomfortable Chill. I might have to brew something in Dimir colors. This. Mirror Image. Okay, it's basically a clone spell. Alright. Anticipate. That's pretty decent. Alright, Knight's Pledge, Elvish Rejuvenator, what's this? Lightning Mare, okay. Oh, Mentor of the Meek. Mentor of the Meek's a sweet white card, especially in Weenie's decks. Okay. Let's crack another card here. Okay, Gear Per Guide. Another Diregraph Ghoul. Okay, so that's actually okay, and another Doom Dissenter, wow, this is actually really hardcore black here. Maybe I can actually go in and make that black deck a little bit more consistent. And that's exactly what I did. Is I used the cards that I got from this first booster pack to boost my black deck. So I got another Doom Dissenter, that's huge. Infectious Horror is huge. Diregraph Ghoul was pretty good, and stuff like that. So I was able to use that to create more consistency in my deck. Now, one thing I want to talk about there is that a lot of times people will like a stompy deck or a black deck or red or whatever color you like. And then what they'll do is they'll try and make these cards fit in, or they'll just try and keep using it. But you should let the cards take you where they do, right? So like if you crack your opening packs and you get a lot of blue cards and they're pretty good, but you still really like stompy and you're wanting to play green, well, I guess you can still play green. But if you want to be competitive, you should just go with what the cards have given you. Right, so if you got enough great cards to modify the blue deck, then go blue, and then use those wins to get the green cards, and then you can build your stompy deck afterwards. All right, otherwise you're going to be spending forever, like trying to grind out matches with an inferior deck. So in this case, I got lucky, and I got a lot. I like playing black, so I got a lot of black cards. And I was able to use like Doom Dissenter, Infectious Horror, and Diregraph Ghoul to increase the consistency of the deck and take away some of that dirt that comes in the starter deck. Okay. Okay, let's Valiant Knight, other knights you can... Okay, so a Night Lord, alright. See what we got in this set. Oh, okay, uncommon wild card it looks like. Child of Night, 2/1 lifelinker for 2, reassembling skeleton. Okay. Alright. Mist Caller. So I'm trying to turn into the battlefield. It wasn't cast exile instead. Alright. That seems kind of like more like a sideboard card. Okay, so I got common wild card, uncommon wild card. That's okay, could be helpful. Uncomfortable chill. Alright. Metamorphic alteration. So what is this? This is about choose a creature. Enchanted creature is a copy of the chosen creature. Oh, okay. So this is kind of like that other. It's basically another clone spell. All right. So looks okay. Oh, I got one more. Sweet. Strangely, something satisfying about cracking packs. Another Gearsmith Prodigy. Okay. Good wild cards and Cleansing Nova. All right. So a whiteboard wipe. Okay, but today, because the wards are all in blue and black, I'm going to try and play blue and black. Let's go back to my decks. Okay, well, let's see if I can modify Graveyard Bash right now, since I'm just starting my first deck here. Okay, so I seem to get a lot of black cards, and let's see. So we got.
You'll need to choose a deck.
Let's see, 2 Diagraph Rules. Diagraph Rules are pretty good. Okay, so let's. I don't even know how to add cards into the deck here, so let's take a look here.
You can change your deck before each game.
Oh, okay, I think this is like how many are in the deck and how many I have. Okay, so let's add one into here. Alright, that's alright. Do I have a second one? Oh, I see. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So a whole, like a solid one means it's in your deck. An outlined one means you have it in the collection, but it's not in your deck. And if it's just grayed out, it means you don't have it. Okay. All right. I'm not too huge on Gravedigger. I've never been really huge on Gravedigger, so I'm gonna pull the Gravediggers out. Yeah, throw in another Doom Dissenter. Okay, so I got 4 of Doom Dissenter. Let's see what else I got. I have another Infectious Horror. Okay, that could be okay. And a Reassembling Skeleton. Is there anything terrible in here? Okay, so just more Grandmaster of Flash. Okay, a 3 and a 3/2 with Flash. Murder's good. Strangling Scores. Okay, it's a form of removal. Open the Graves. That is pretty good. Okay, Brave Waker. Okay, what is this? Meteor Golem. 7 mana. I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to cast that. I'd rather have Infectious Horror. Okay, and let's see. Oh, this is probably going to be okay as well. Strangling Spores. Okay, to get a 3 of. Got too many cards in my deck. Reassembling Skeleton looks okay as well. I really like Rise from the Grave. Let's see, what else is here? What could I get rid of here? Vampire Sovereign is pretty good. Skymarch Bloodletter is also pretty good. 2/2 flyer when it enters the battlefield. Alright. Walking Corpse, just a bear, so maybe take out the Walking Corpse and put in Reassembling Skeleton. Okay, and what else have I got here that I could play in this deck? Okay, so not really a lot else here. Okay, and then maybe later on I can use these Guild Gates and Boneyards to create a blue-black Dimir deck. Okay, but let's give this a try. This is my first time ever playing. I don't expect to win. Let's give it a shot. So I did give it a shot, and I actually did really well. I won my first 6 games in Magic Arena just using that modified deck, and I had a lot of fun. It's a great deck, you know, and I think maybe I just got lucky with some of the packs that I had. You know, I was able to modify that deck and make it consistent, you know, and you know, it was pretty good. Of course, you're not going to go forever just winning. Like, no one's going to win every single time, but it was pretty nice. Now, there's 2 more pieces of advice I want to give before I let you go today. The first one is try to play your creatures in your second main, right? Unless the creature has haste or something like that. What I found, especially with the zombies deck, is that you want to attack first, right? Leave your mana open, and your opponent will think that there's a combat trick sometimes. You can get through, and then play your creature in the second main, right? So a lot of people, like, they play their creatures up front, they tap out, and your opponent knows you got nothing. So don't do that. Play creatures in the second main if you can. All right. The other one is don't be afraid to use, like, if you're playing dual lands, don't be afraid to use some of the tap lands. Standard is a little bit slower than modern, and you know, like in modern, you're like, oh no, tap land is awful. But don't be afraid to use some of the tap lands if you need to have some mana fixing. One more piece of advice is try to play and play the decks that will give you the daily rewards. All right, so daily rewards, there'll be all sorts of different ones. Like, it'll be like, you know, cast like 20 red spells, or, you know, deal 50 damage to the player, or kill some creature, or whatever. But try and play decks that allow you to reach those rewards, because they're huge. Okay, so over time, I was able to play a little bit more, and kind of grind out some matches. You know, I won a few, lost a few. You know, I'm thinking I probably won more than I lost, probably like 65-70% wins, which is pretty good, I think. But overall, those rewards give you gold, which you can later use to draft. And in drafting, that's where you can get the good cards. Another thing you can get from reaching those daily rewards is that if you play the daily rewards, then you can unlock decks, right? And unlocking a deck is huge, right? Like, just gives you so many cards. It's like getting 60 cards. Right, 60 cards is like 4 packs of cards, but they're all themed and on color. So if you can get that, you know, it's actually pretty amazing, right? So, and it's not that hard to get them. So, like, so far, like, it's been a few days since I made this video, or since my original gameplay, and I've probably gotten like 4 or 5 decks like that I've unlocked. You know, it's pretty sweet, you know, to be able to get them. And then you can combine the cards you get from other decks into new decks, and so on and so forth. I haven't paid a single cent to play Arena, and I'm having a lot of fun, and I was able to create some really amazing decks. So anyways, that's my advice. Let me know if you have any advice for new players in the comments. So, you know, let's help each other out in the community. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.